Okay, so we've been talking for quite a while. I've seen your pictures, I've seen your website. Um, you've been in business for how long now? Sorry.
Okay, so my father, he started this business in 2017. He had it till the beginning of this year, January, is when I joined him. I graduated from college as a finance major, and I decided to go into business with him. And so when we did that, I also decided to change the name and the logo and everything. So he's had the company since 2017, but technically, with this new name and everything, we just started at the beginning of the year.
Okay. And how's the new branding coming along?
Um, well, you asked me how many calls I get from the raps. Those That was a pretty big investment, and it's not a lot. Today, I got another one, which was good. So we're at a
Good.
total of like about 3 calls in 3 months. Is not good.
3 calls in 3 months, and you have two
Yeah,
trucks.
2 trucks.
Okay. Um, yeah, that's probably a good place to start with this conversation. How
Okay.
long has your dad been in the construction industry?
He's been painting since he got to this country, which was 25 years ago.
25 years. Okay.
And
And
he started off, working for a company.
okay.
And yeah, his vision was, and then eventually, he got independent and had his own crew. And he was really just gonna continue that way with his own crew. He's happy like that as a craftsman, but I'm trying to scale. He's the bigger vision. How he's really he really has set a really good foundation in terms of referrals. All our work is referrals. We have constant work for 2 crews just off of word of mouth.
Referrals. Okay.
Yeah, like I think in my opinion he's set up a really good foundation, and now I wanna scale.
Okay. How many referrals? Sorry, how many reviews?
How many reviews we have? I think 6 on our Google right now.
6.
6 5 stars. Yeah. I mean,
Dude,
we
you
only
should have
started.
600 or
Yeah,
6,000 after 25 years.
yeah. So my my dad in 2017 when he went independent, I guess, he never thought about that stuff. Just he's just a craftsman.
Right. Too busy being busy.
Yeah, too busy. The type of guy that now he's changed, but I'm just trying to establish how it was, about how we're mentally, how like
Okay.
he'd rather paint than do a estimate, and I'm the opposite way. I'm like, put down that brush. We need to.
When you can. So you
Yeah,
enjoyed the sales part of it.
that's yes. I
Okay.
want to be
How
sales
many
and
salesperson? Are you the only salesperson?
right now, since I started in January, basically, me and my father are going to every single estimate together.
Oh, you go together. Okay.
Yeah, we've been going to every single estimate together, and we average about like 4 to 5 estimates appointments a week.
A week. What's your closing ratio? Are you keeping track?
Um, Not formally, but
Okay.
like I said, they're all word of mouth. So about 80% of them, we get them.
80%. Okay.
80 to 90% we get out of those 4 to 5 estimates a week.
Okay.
Sometimes 2 3 actually.
Okay. And where do you live? Sorry.
Naples, Florida.
Okay. And how far do you travel? Within an hour's radius of you or half an hour?
Stay pretty local. We rarely go more than 30 minutes outside of our radius.
30
So it's
minutes.
like on over we go into, which is Fort Myers. We do a little bit. And
Okay. All right. So what would you like to see happen? What are you trying to get out of this call?
um, like I said, I feel like we have a pretty good foundation in terms of recurring customers coming in. So we have that good base that keeps 2 crews pretty busy. But now I feel like it's not enough to add a third crew and scale from that. So obviously there needs to come other leads, forms of leads. right? And trying to build that lead machine, I
Okay.
guess, to because like I said, all our work is referral work, which has given us a good base. But now, in order to scale, I think we got to think bigger and obviously get other leads that are not word of mouth.
Okay. I'm assuming the crews are working separately on different jobs
Half and half. Sometimes lately, actually, they've been working together, and because
together.
we've been doing exteriors lately, so we
Okay.
knocked them out together.
Faster. Um, what's your average job in terms of a price tag?
Average job size. Let me see. I actually have some numbers here.
Are you using any software?
Yeah, we just got a CRM. Just got one 2 weeks ago. Drip Jobs. I don't know if you've heard of them. QuickBooks, and that's as far as goes for software.
Okay.
So average job size is about 20 grand, 15. They're pretty good. They're well-sized jobs. So we only do about, like, last month we did 5 jobs, but they were pretty good size. And
Okay.
yeah, I'd say about 15 grand to 20 grand is average job size.
Okay. So you're doing about a million, 1.2 thereabouts in revenue?
No, we're doing 750 is what it's
750.
looking like
Okay.
this year.
You're very close to the glass ceiling. I don't know if you've looked at any Google statistics. Most painting companies hit 800,000 and very rarely go over. It could
I
take 5 years, 20 years, sometimes 40 years. They hit the 800,000 glass ceiling and rarely, if ever, go over, which
Yeah,
is, it's a weird number, $800,000. I mean, why not a million, right? At
right.
least there's a mental barrier there, right? But 800,000, why? I don't get 800,000.
I think people are like right under the million and they're pretty complacent with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
So it's kind of a weird number. I mean, on the general contracting side, a general contractor can take 10 to 20 years to get to $20 million, but at least it's $20 million, right? It's not $800,000. Right?
Yes.
So, and 20 million is a pretty substantial number, but it could take, 10 to 20 years or 20 to 40 years, sorry,
40
20 to
years.
40 years to get to $20 million. And sometimes the second or third generation that gets there.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's it.
um, yeah. So what do you know about us? And how do you pronounce your first name? Luis?
Luis. Luis.
Luis. Okay. What nationality are you?
Bolivian. I was born in Bolivia, but I came when I was 1. I've been in Naples since I was 1.
Okay. So you've always been in Naples.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So going back to the original question, because I don't want to get too ahead of myself, and I have a tendency to do that.
Okay.
What are you hoping to accomplish with this call?
So to be frank with you, we've hit this mark where I told you I feel like we're at this plateau where we want to add that third crew and scale a little. And I always knew that I needed a business coach probably around this point. And I've been looking at a couple ones that are specific to painting. And but then I ran across you and
On
I just
TikTok, right?
yep, I found you on TikTok.
Okay.
And I really like what you're that you come from a different view of just the construction industry in general.
Yeah.
And
Not a
that
different view, the right view.
yeah,
Okay.
probably yeah.
Because everybody trashes me. I get a lot of haters on Facebook, especially, right? Because every time I post a comment, it's always different from theirs. And they say, you're a lunatic, you're crazy. And I'm saying, no, you're upside down. Your company is designed upside down. It makes no sense to me how you designed your business, right? So I'm sure you know by now that I started my first construction business when I was 17, made my first million before I was 25. And, I've been helping companies now for over 40 years. We've helped, at least 1,000 guys like you go from under a million to, 5, 10, 20 million. We did that 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
We've had two failures. In 40 years, we've had two failures. Okay. And if you
Yes.
watch some of the YouTube videos, you'll understand why we had two failures. And I talk a lot about those failures because you can learn more from those failures than you can from successes. Right.
Yes.
So, um, so you seem that you're open to change. What about Dad? Is he open to change?
Yes.
Is he? Why isn't he
Mhm.
on this call?
Um, he's on the brush. He's working right now.
Okay. I would suggest we
And
schedule.
and to my fault, I didn't really invite him.
Okay. So I'm recording this. I'll share it with you so you can share it with him. Um, hopefully you saw a video where I said I've been looking for a painting partner to start a painting franchise now. And I've been looking, well, off and on looking for almost 20 years. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, and I spoke with someone who was interested in becoming a partner, but guess where he was when he called me? He was on the job site, full of paint, right? And the maximum he's managed with 4 people. I want people with leadership experience, people that can manage crews and motivate crews and know what branding and differentiation and how important a client is, right? So,
Right.
I would love to find a partner who would take care of production. I will take care of the business side of the business, the branding, differentiation, the aggressive marketing
Mm-hmm.
systems, the marketing and all that. I will design all that. We will hire people over time. I will put in $100,000 into it to launch it. And I want it to be a $5 or $20 million company in a very short period of time. And when we get to about 1 million, I want to start franchising. Okay.
Yeah.
But it has to be the right name, the right brand.
I bet
Okay.
that's where it starts.
And you have to test. Every time before we launch any brand, we test it with at least 10,000 future potential clients. Because it doesn't
Yeah, I
matter
didn't
what
even
I
know.
like, it doesn't matter
Mhm.
what you like. It only matters what the people with the money like and what they're willing to pay for. And that's why you need to test it with at least 10,000 people. And by the way, when we do a testing, when we do a truck wrap, I don't want to upset you, but when we do a truck wrap and we rent those trucks to courier companies and they drive around the highway and so on, we generally get anywhere from 15 to 20 leads per day.
That's crazy. Those are crazy
15,
numbers.
15 to 20 leads per day. Now, mind you, um, these vans are traveling all over the place. And sometimes what we do is we put an employee inside the van and I say, stay on the highway because a highway here, as an example, has 400,000 vehicles per day. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
400,000 vehicles per day. And when you have the wow factor, when people go, what the hell was that? Right. And they look at it and they quite, because your truck wrap has to pass the 1 second test. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And had you done some testing, you would realize, hey, this does not pass the 1 second test because it's too much information. No call to action. Okay. Your truck was really designed when someone is sitting, at the traffic light for 5 minutes and they have all the time to read, they have all the time to take a picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on highway speed going 80 miles an hour, you've
Yeah, nobody's
lost,
thinking.
right? You've
Yeah,
lost. And that's where you're going to get the most traffic is when you're traveling at 80 miles an hour.
yeah. And
Okay.
I went into the idea with that. I designed that rap, and I went to the idea with trying to keep it very minimalistic so that they just get the name and the number. the big point. And yeah, I guess still too
Too
much going
busy,
on.
too busy. And the most important part, and watch some of the other videos, because I try to learn from cult leaders as an example.
Hmm.
Cult leaders. Now think what a cult leader is. A cult leader sometimes drives their flock to suicide, right?
Right.
So that's real influence. Not
That's
influence to the good, but it's still influence. Now, if you could use that same strategy for the good and use words that trigger the subconscious mind to say, I want to work with that painting company. I don't know why, but I want to work with that painting company.
hmm
Now you're starting to grow, to 5 million, 10 million. Now your employees or future employees saying, geez, that looks like a fast growing company. I want to go work for that company. Now
Yeah.
you have a waiting list of employees that want to come and work for you.
Just
Okay.
all off of rap is what you're.
All because of branding and differentiation. Okay.
Hmm.
So it's important. I mean, it's the difference between pushing a boulder uphill or pushing the same boulder downhill. Because downhill, you're building momentum, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So branding is a promise that you make to your future potential clients. And they say in a lot of cases, I want to work with that company. They haven't met you yet. Okay. That is a
Hmm.
huge unfair advantage that you have over your competition. That's how you grow.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know that people do testing for these
Yeah.
things. Like,
Yeah. Actually, if you're too young, how old are you?
I'm 23.
23. Back in the 80s, they used to use subliminal messaging. So in other words, you're sitting in the movie theater, you're watching previews. All of a sudden, between previews or even during previews, they would write the word popcorn. It would be like a millionth of a second. Your conscious brain would never see it, but your subconscious brain sees it. All of a sudden, popcorn sales jump by 30%.
Wow.
That's why it's illegal.
Is it legal to do that?
It's illegal to do that.
Wow. It's
Yep.
too powerful. It's
It's
not
too
even fair.
powerful, but you can still use certain aspects of that. And this is what I mean about using the right words to trigger the subconscious to say, I want to do business with that company.
Yeah.
That's what an aggressive marketing system looks like. Okay.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
and most painters, if you go onto any Facebook group, they're always so proud. I've never done any marketing. Well, that's to me, you're admitting you're an idiot. Why are you admitting to me you're an idiot? Right? Which
Hey,
means they
that's
haven't used subliminal messaging or psychological profiling or anything like that. They believe in working hard instead of working smart, right?
exactly. That's what I'm trying to shift away from because we used to think like that.
Yeah, and I get roasted on these groups because they're trying to say, "Oh, you know nothing about construction," and I say, "You're right. I haven't touched a tool in what 40 years. Thank you for the compliment." They think they're digging at me, and I'm saying, "Thank you. You're right. I haven't been on job sites forever, right? Unless I'm visiting someone."
Is they're mad? They're mad because you're making a blue collar job into a white collar one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But a business should be designed to work for you. Your
Definitely.
dad by now should be able to run his business from the cottage or the boat or the vacation home, right?
Yeah.
To give you another example, I met I play beach volleyball. I remember in Brazil, I was playing in a tournament, and these young guys come in, and after they kicked our asses and trash talking and all that, watch that video. Um, and And I said, none of my trash talking was working on you. And he said, you were not getting inside my head. And I said, I want to buy you a beer. Then we're doing the what do you do conversation. And he says he's a painter. And I said, well, why are you a painter? Why don't you own a painting company? And he says, well, You got to understand, my boss is slow in the winter. I get to travel to 38 countries a year. And in the spring, I'll go back. I always have a job, right? So I have the perfect lifestyle. And I said, what if we could design a business for you to deliver a better quality of life? Jump forward, 12 years now, and he lives in a $5 million house. He just bought a $5 million house. First thing he did was remove the roof to add a second floor. He has this beautiful cottage, all the toys, and yet he spends very little time on job sites. He's surfing and playing beach volleyball and all over the world, right?
Wow. Hmm.
That's what a well-designed business looks like.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the construction industry has been the most profitable industry. So you should be making a ton of money right now.
Hmm. I agree. I agree. Naples too is I don't know if you know much about Naples, but it's a very there's a high medium income because a lot of people come here to retire.
Yeah. Well,
But
all
we
of
have
Florida can be
yeah, you
like that.
consider that. Yeah.
One of my clients builds bathrooms in Florida. The average bathroom is $150,000.
I can imagine. Yeah. But I saw your video, which really what makes you think that a painting company is the best one out of the trades,
Yeah, great question. Because painting, you can hire anyone and I can teach them to cut,
right?
right? Rolling is kind of no brainer. After a day of watching training videos, they're pretty much trained. They can watch the training videos, a couple of days before they start. When they start, they've never held a paintbrush. They can be a great helper. Within a week or two, they're already functioning. So, what other business can you think of that you can take people off the street? I mean, aside from McDonald's, that you can take people off the street and train them and have them be efficient. And when you start using efficiency tools and training videos, you can get them to be efficient, right? I
Right.
mean, roofing, you can do that in roofing, but it takes more time. It's dangerous. It's hot or cold. But painting is a simple business. Everybody needs the service. When you move from one home to another, you got to fix holes, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You want to customize the house, and it's fairly cheap in comparison. If they spent, $2 million on a house, spending 15 or 20,000 to paint it, it's pretty cheap, right? You can finance the deal if they, you know, if they want to pay $300 a month instead, you can do that. So it becomes very painless, and that's why I like it.
Yeah, I was super happy to hear that because um I've had a couple conversations with my father how we like literally have said it's probably because sometimes we're doing the work ourselves, but we said, damn, we wish we picked another trade because we feel like this piece of baseboard, the carpenter comes in, nails it in, makes his money, gets out. We're on our knees puttying it, sanding it,
Yeah,
priming it.
yeah,
But yeah, I was glad to hear that point of view.
yeah. Except
Sometimes
it shouldn't
it's
be
frustrating.
you on your knees, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. It should be your project manager who's training your employees, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and you running the business
Yeah, that's that's
because
that's that's the
because
idea.
your real job, you know, if I was advising you, you would never start on the paintbrush. If I was advising your dad, I would forbid him to touch a paintbrush
Mm-hmm.
because even though he thinks he's being productive using a paintbrush, he's not. He's
He's not.
not because he's not, developing relationships with, the real estate broker who's going to bring in, $2 million worth of business next year. You should be playing golf with the right people or tennis or having coffee with the right people. That's his job. Being on the
Mm-hmm.
paintbrush is costing you guys millions of dollars every year.
Yeah, and that was his idea bringing me in. He wants me to be the brains of that stuff, and also that comes with him having to change too.
Right. So what's your job? What's your title?
So right now I consider myself sales manager, but that's just something I'd like to be more officially later. But right now, I work from 8 to 4:30. We do estimates in between when we can during those times, and I come home and to do the estimates. I do the emailing, the payroll, um, the computer stuff, the administrative kind of work right now.
Okay.
Plus, I'm in the field at basically every day.
Okay. So you were mentioning that you want to get a third crew. And how many people in the crew, by the way?
3.
Three. That's a pretty small crew. Um, okay.
There's 3
Um,
on each one.
so what do you have to do in order to get a third crew, fourth crew, 10th crew, and so on? What do you need to do? As the CEO of the company, what do you need to do?
I I would say that I would need to have like a backlog of at least or or
Signed contracts
like
waiting to be done. You're right. How do you
yes.
do that? How do you get that done?
Well, first of all, getting in front of people, so having to either market my ass off or network.
Okay, let me give you an example. I started on TikTok about 10 days ago. 11 days ago, I had 30 followers,
Mm-hmm.
literally 30 followers. Because I was booted off LinkedIn and because I was trying to reinvent myself on Facebook and Facebook was taking too long, I thought, okay, let's try TikTok. I posted a video. I posted a number of videos. One of them went viral. 2.7 million views so far in 10 days. 2.7 million views in 10 days, about 2,000 comments. So if that was you, and out of 2,000 comments, you would probably have 20 or 30 clients that want estimates,
Mm-hmm.
right? Wouldn't that fix your problem? Right? If
You're
you
right.
if you did 20 estimates and you closed, let's say 8 or 10 of them, there's
Yes.
your 10 contracts, right?
Correct.
Now you have 10 signed contracts with deposits. Now you need people. Now you hire the third crew or fourth crew or fifth crew. You keep doing the marketing and you keep growing the company. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. But first, I would suggest you, before you start doing that, you stop pushing people away. Because what happens when you get a referral? What do people do? They go online to check your reviews, check who you are, right?
Right.
And sometimes you push them away. Sometimes they say, okay, it's not that bad. I'll go with this company. But if they went to check you out and they said, wow, this is incredible. I have to do business with these people. Now you're closing a lot more, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how many people do you think you're pushing away today?
Um. That's how many
Too
people?
many. Too many. Even one is too many, right?
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Right. People that were interested and came and saw the proof and didn't like it, basically.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yours is not as bad as I've seen. Okay. At least you didn't use your last name as the company name.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a realtor we work with. We do a lot of work with, and she wanted that so bad. She told us, "Oh, she wish it would have been Ortiz painting."
Yeah,
Ortiz painting. No, no. And I explained to her, Nike, you don't see nobody putting their name with Nike. It's just Nike that sells, not
exactly. Exactly. And who wants to buy a company with somebody else's name on it,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So it's ugly.
I'm gonna save this video. I'll post it. Can I post it publicly on YouTube?
Yeah, you can do what you want with it.
Okay. I'll send you the link. Sit down with your dad and please watch it with your dad. Stop the video, rewind. Stop the video, rewind. Talk over every point. Are we doing this? Is this our problem? Why isn't it, what he said? Why aren't we at $5 million? already, right? Ask questions, sit down, be honest with your dad and say, okay, what do we do next? What do we want to do? Right?
Right.
And are we capable of change? Because a lot of times people say, yeah, we want to change. Then when it actually comes time to change, whoa, wait a minute.
It's
Right?
true. Right.
Okay. Change is terrifying for most people, even though they always say, Leo, I love change. No, bullshit, you hate change. Because if you love change, you would have changed already.
I agree.
Okay. I need to get ready for another call, but I'll send you the link and schedule another call in 2 or 3 days. No more than 3 days. Momentum is crucial.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna hop on your calendar
Yeah,
and do that
please.
right now.
All right. Take care. Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Luis. Bye.